Right now you're listening to the song Crazy by singer-songwriter CeeLo Green and producer Danger Mouse. The duo, better known as Gnarls Barkley. It's one of the most iconic songs of the 2000s and it feels like everybody loves it. The song won a Grammy and many other awards, and it remains relevant in society even to this day.
Does that make me crazy?
If you're anything like me, you found the lyrics to be interesting as they tell a story, and to understand that story, we need to look deeper and look beyond the song. CeeLo Green broke into the music scene as part of Atlanta hip-hop group Goodie Mob, and it was performing as a part of Goodie Mob that he would meet the other half of Gnarls Barkley after a show at the University of Georgia, when Danger Mouse handed CeeLo Green an instrumental tape. Although not a lot came from this interaction, they would eventually cross paths again later in life. It's worth mentioning that Danger Mouse wasn't a nobody by the time him and CeeLo Green got together, as Danger Mouse would gain some popularity in the music scene thanks to his work on the Grey album.
Allow me to reintroduce myself, my name is Hov, H to the O.
Which was a mashup album that fused together the instrumentals from the Beatles' White album and the vocals from Jay-Z's The Black album. It received massive critical acclaim from critics from Ringo Starr, Paul McCartney, and even Jay-Z.
99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. I got the rap patrol on the cat.
Unfortunately, the album has been kind of lost to time, and that's because of EMI. They were the company that owned the creative works of the Beatles, and because they did, they threatened every retail store that was selling the album, as well as Danger Mouse. Keep this in mind for later. The group would eventually start to prepare for their first studio album, Saint Elsewhere.
But what did you do? What did you say?
And what became the lead single for the album was the song Crazy, which would release in 2006. The song was a big hit around the world, but especially in the UK. I was very surprised to see that the song never reached #1 in the United States, but hey, I guess people were tripping in 2006. I think there are some key reasons for why this song was able to gain as much traction as it did. One of them being the lyrical content of it all. The lyrics of the song are very vague and abstract, which allow the song to be interpreted in many different ways. For CeeLo Green and Danger Mouse, however, the song was made as commentary towards the music industry, which is not anything new. I think every artist at some point has had some problem with the music industry, including Danger Mouse himself and CeeLo Green eventually. But this song more specifically looks at the way that artists are treated when they are perceived to be crazy. I also think that it applies to oneself and the concept of being yourself despite what anybody else may think. This is better exemplified with the live versions of the song. They were pilots, they had suits, they had graduation gowns, they had everything, and it looks fun. I don't know if they had fun, but it definitely looks like they did. And basically it's like Gnarls Barkley is just saying, be you, have fun. And the idea of being yourself goes hand in hand with the commentary that the song is trying to make about artists. Because some of the frustrations that CeeLo Green had with the music industry was that he wasn't able to be himself and be taken seriously, the message of just be yourself can be seen predominantly throughout the track, with both messages making the other one stronger. Verse 1 is in many ways about letting go. More specifically, it's about letting go of the importance that you put on what other people think about you. However, when you stop caring about what people think of you, you're more likely to be ridiculed. And to society, when you're not part of the norm, then you might as well have lost your mind.
I remember when I lost my mind.
However, CeeLo Green explains the process to be rather peaceful, as looking back he describes his state of mind as something pleasant.
There was something so pleasant about that place.
Which is why when CeeLo Green looks back, he describes it as a very pleasant feeling to be able to be himself. Verse 2 takes place in the present, where verse 1 is kind of CeeLo Green looking back. Verse 2 is CeeLo Green offering advice for the next generation of artists.
And I hope that you are having time of your life.
Or alternatively, offering advice to that person that's afraid of being themselves. Although you think you're being safe because you're not being ostracized by society the way that CeeLo Green is, you are also crazy.
Who do you think you are?
Whereas CeeLo Green is crazy for not being like the rest of society, you're crazy for wanting to be the rest of society when that's not really you.
Well, I think you're crazy.
The second verse is really a warning for artists and people, basically saying that if you're not you, life is gonna hit you hard eventually, and it's not gonna be nice. Verse 3 is CeeLo Green looking forward. He's looking forward to be able to say that he lived a happy life. Just like the heroes he idolizes, he doesn't idolize them because of the life they were living, but because of what they were willing to die for.
Who are the heroes you're talking about, and what do you mean by losing your life out on a limb?
The street soldiers, you know, our servicemen, our policemen, our firemen, our leaders, you know, even Martin Luther King said if a man had found nothing that he was willing to die for, then he's not fit to live, you know. So our leaders, Jim Morrison, you know, Jimi Hendrix, you know, so many other brave, courageous individuals, you know, willing to really literally give their lives for the sake of the art.
But he ends it off with a very interesting note, not putting himself above everybody else and making it seem like he knows everything. He ends the song off by admitting that he could be wrong, and maybe that's what truly makes him crazy.
But maybe I'm crazy.
The idea that he is living the perfect life, or that he cracked the code to life. But regardless of whether or not he's wrong, he's willing to die for that cause. The cause of encouraging people to be themselves above anybody else, even if it means that you're crazy. It reminds me of this lyric from Jay-Z on 444.
But if everybody's crazy, you're the one that's insane.
The song Kill Jay-Z is all about how you should hate Jay-Z. Everything that Jay-Z did wrong leading up to that album. Jay-Z describes the song as the killing of his ego. And it's at this point of the song that he tells himself that if he really believes that everybody around him is crazy and they're the ones to blame for everything that's going wrong up until this point of his life, then maybe he should look within. Because if everybody's crazy, then you're the one that's insane. And I think that Crazy by Gnarls Barkley works in the same way, essentially being a song that criticizes everybody that criticizes anybody. But also, I need to bring up the music video. And that video to me is one of the greatest videos of all time. Like right now, I don't have the skill or creativity to do something like this, but when I do, man, it's gonna be good. Now, that's assuming I ever get to that point, but anyways, there's a point in the video where CeeLo Green points at the viewer and it's kind of like, if you think I'm crazy, you know, you are too. And the animation in the style of a Rorschach test is so smooth. To be honest with you, the music video is one of the main reasons I'm making this video. But anyways, when I think of Crazy by Gnarls Barkley, I think of one of the greatest songs that I've ever heard. It's the perfect sounds just clashing together to make lightning in a bottle. I can't really hate it. But I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. Anyways, with that being said, this took a while to figure out because this is a really complicated song to talk about. It's great. It's great, but it's like a Rubik's Cube type of great. Anyways, with that being said, shout out to Jay Dilla, and I'm, yeah.